Stop. Don't do it. Seriously, don't do it. Take your hand off your genitals, step away from the pornography. It's not going to make you feel better, man. You're just going to feel shit about yourself afterwards. You know it. You know it's true. So, why don't you just sit back, relax, and just listen to the soothing sound of my voice? You see, I've created this YouTube channel as a way to help people overcome pornography and sexual addictions, masturbation and, all kinds of stuff like that. Because I think it's a big problem in this world. So shout out to my Fapstronauts out there. Fapstronauts, for those of you who don't know what that is, it refers to people who partake in the subreddit on Reddit called NoFap. And what that's all about is, about doing the things I just said, about getting over pornography and living a more awesome life. So I figured I might as well, put together a series of videos to help you people do this. And I think doing videos is so important because, if you think about the problem watching porn, it's a problem of watching videos. So what I want to do is try and put these videos out here so you have an alternative to click on. And it's not really hard like a blog post where you have to actually sit down and read. You just need to watch me, right? So, this, what I'm doing, I'm calling it the Sacred Sexuality Project. And what does sacred mean in terms of this kind of stuff? Well, if you're religious, it obviously has a very clear meaning. It has to do with being in line with what God's will for you is and everything. And I'm a Catholic, and that's very clear to me what that means. But even if you're not religiously affiliated or even an atheist or something like that, like, I still encourage you to go on this journey of finding out what sanctity means to you and how it applies to your sexuality. And there's a really good reason to do this. So if your sexuality is, and your sexual drives are nothing more than an itch to be scratched, then ultimately sexual activity will never be more meaningful than scratching an itch, right? So who wants that? Especially like in our society today, sexuality is put on a pedestal as this hugely important thing and, almost central to our culture and who we are as a person. But the thing is, the way that society says you should go about using your sexuality is never really going to give you that kind of fulfillment that we're all looking for. So the only way you're going to make sex special to you is if you treat it as if it was special. So, I mean, this has a whole lot to it, but, I think most people can agree that jerking yourself into a coma while watching two people bang on a screen is, not the most sacred or the most special way to express your sexuality. So there's a lot of benefits to going down this path, but it's not easy. It's not. It's, in fact, very uncomfortable, especially if you have an ingrained, sexual addiction like porn. But by mastering your sexuality, it could be one of the most powerful things I think you could ever do with your life. And the reason for this is because if you can master your sexuality, what that means is you have mastered discomfort. And doing that, I can't even properly put it into words what that could do for you. So to kind of kick this off, let's explore that concept and how that applies to, your journey in terms of making your sexuality more sacred. So we have two main motivators, the way that I see it. You can do something out of love, or you can do something out of fear. Okay, and really it's one or the other. And it might not seem like everything falls into that category, but more or less it seems to. And the fear usually is rooted in avoiding discomfort. You're afraid of essentially feeling pain or discomfort for any longer or at all, so you move away from things or you do things. So for example, like if you're horny, that's uncomfortable to be horny. It's a charge in your body and you want to discharge it. You want to not feel that way anymore. Otherwise, being horny wouldn't inspire you to have sex because, being horny itself isn't good. It doesn't feel good. It's more the release that people look for. So, what was I saying? But okay, right. So moving away from discomfort. When you are moving away from discomfort, this means that you're living a life of fear. Um, so think about it this way. If you're the kind of person who always waits till the last minute to get assignments done, whether it's for school or work or whatever, the reason you're waiting to the last minute is because until you get to that, down to the wire, there's not enough discomfort there to motivate you. But when you start getting close to it, it's like, oh shit, if I don't get this done, I'm going to be in trouble. And that trouble, that perceived consequence of not doing your work, is painful. And then in order to not have that happen to you, you do the thing which is slightly less painful, which is actually doing the job. Now, this works well and good. I pretty much operated on this paradigm my entire time through school. And you can get stuff done, but the thing is, there's going to be a point where this doesn't actually get you to anywhere you want to go. This just keeps you from being where you don't want to be, if that makes sense. So let's look about, in order to illustrate this, let's look at how things change if you start to move out of love instead. If you do something because you love it, you're not going to wait till the last minute. You're going to do it as soon as you possibly can. And in fact, you're going to be driving ahead and going out of your way to get further and further towards this thing that you love. But if you're caught up in all of these escape behaviors where you're constantly trying to avoid discomfort, then you're never actually going to be drawn to the place that you really want to be. Unless if you have a very acute sense of how you're failing to live the life that you want, which becomes a pain in and of itself, which can start this whole journey for you. But anyway, the most important part about all this is getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. And that's what the whole journey of mastering your sexuality is all about, because it's tough, it's hard, and a lot of times it sucks. But the thing is, your sexuality is kind of like a portable internal gym that you're carrying with you at all times. So, think about, what do you do at a gym? You go to a gym, you get stronger. But this is a gym you're carrying with you all the time. Like, whether it's, trying to, like, it comes up in all situations. Like, whenever there's like a pretty girl around, or a pretty, good looking guy, whatever it is, or, even just with the media, the way it is, there's always, images of like sexually provocative images that are coming on and pulling on your sexuality, trying to get you to respond to it. So by learning how to not respond in terms of, looking at porn or masturbating or things like that, you are having to deal with the discomfort of having those things there. And this is practice. This is practice for bigger and better things. Once you get a handle on your sexuality, like, this means that you have you've built up a certain threshold of being able to handle discomfort. And what you can do with that threshold is you can start putting that towards your dreams. In fact, like, this channel right now is a direct result of that. And what I'm planning on doing now that I'm discovering the power of this is sharing all of this with you. Like, I've been studying self-development most of my life. I'm kind of like a self-development weirdo. I started, I got my first self-help book when I was probably like 13, Psycho-Cybernetics by Maxwell Maltz. Great book, check it out. But I always had this escape behavior of, porn and masturbation and all that kind of stuff. And it allowed me to escape instead of chase after my dreams. It allowed me to avoid discomfort. But the thing is, nothing in life that's worth getting is going to be easy, is going to be comfortable to get, So I guess the whole point of this video is to invite you to come on this journey with me. I'm going to be doing my best to try and post every day, because sexuality and temptation and things like that, it's going to be there every day. And I want to be kind of an alternative to going down that path. Put a little, make sure you subscribe first off, but put a little link up in your browser bar that you can get to here real quick, like whenever you feel an urge. Or if you don't like these videos, that's fine. Join NoFap or another community that is dedicated to helping you on this path, and just put a little bookmark up in your browser bar, and that can go a long way into saving you, because as soon as you enter into a place where you can talk about the rewards and drawbacks of, or the rewards of expressing a more sacred sexuality and the drawbacks of just jerking off, get your mind in the right place to handle these temptations, and making it only a click away is really important. I think you got to make it as easy for yourself as possible. So anyway, this I think is a good introductory video, and I will look forward to reading your comments, and feel free to send me any kind of feedback, like things you would like to hear discussed. But other than that, I'll see you next time. Stay clean.